President Biden's trip to Poland comes after a high-stakes day of summits with American allies. The president reaffirmed NATO's solidarity and delivered a warning to Vladimir Putin on chemical weapons in response to a question from ABC News Chief White House correspondent Cecilia Vega.
If chemical weapons were used in Ukraine, would that trigger a military response from NATO?
It would trigger a response in kind. Whether or not you're asking whether NATO would cross, we'd make that decision at the time.
Senior national correspondent Terry Moran is live in Warsaw, Poland with more. Terry, President Biden wouldn't say what that response might look like, but he has vowed not to send U.S. troops to Ukraine. So what is on the table?
Well, you heard there from President Biden, it would be a response in kind. They will weigh any use by Russia of chemical, biological, or radiological weapons, and they are talking about what kind of response. Now, NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg told me that this would completely alter the nature of the war and the nature of NATO's response. But it's clear from the president's vague answer, they don't have solid agreement that they want to signal to Russia as a deterrent, but they are committed to responding in some way. Now, NATO has already switched on its CBR, chemical, biological, radiological defense elements, as they call them, and provided some of that to Ukraine. That's decontamination, that's detection, and that's protective suits and shelters in the event of a chemical weapons attack, and expertise as well. That has been activated for the first time along the NATO front with Russia, and some of that expertise and equipment provided to Ukraine as well. But the real question is, if Russia goes forward and uses some of these weapons, what kind of response would NATO take? Would it be bombing the facilities that used them, as was done in Syria, or would it be something else?
And you spoke with NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg about President Zelensky's plea for military aid. What did he have to say about that?
You know, Diane, that was really, in some ways, the highlight of that NATO meeting. President Zelensky, as he has with legislatures and people around the world, directly appealing to assist Ukraine in the most impassioned way. He said, we are defending NATO. We are defending not just the territory, but the values, the democratic, liberal values of Europe and of the West. We are on the front lines. You can provide more assistance. NATO is doing a lot, but he said, you have thousands of planes. Give us 1% of them. You have 20,000 tanks. Give us 1% of your tanks, and we will continue the defense of Europe against this Russian invasion. Jens Stoltenberg, when I pressed him on if NATO can do more, he said, we are already doing enough, and what we are doing, Stoltenberg claimed, is making a difference on the battlefield. Take a listen.
But again, we are providing a wide range of different types
not
of...
tanks, not aircraft.
But I'm a bit careful going into all the details of exactly what we are providing. We see that what we are providing is helping. It's helping to shoot down planes and also destroy invading Russian tanks. But NATO has two responsibilities. We have the responsibility to provide support to Ukraine. We are doing that. We are imposing sanctions on Russia, but we also have a responsibility to prevent this conflict from escalating beyond Ukraine.
And so you hear there Jens Stoltenberg saying that there can't be a direct conflict between NATO and Russia. They're doing everything they can to avoid it because, in some ways, this country, Poland, would be the next battlefield. And here is where President Biden is arriving to talk to the Polish government, the Polish people, about the defense of NATO, but also about that really remarkable humanitarian effort that the Polish people and their government have given to those million-plus refugees that are in this country right now. President Biden arriving as we speak on the front lines now, NATO's front lines against a newly aggressive Russia. Diane?
And we're seeing the president landing there. He also, Terry, struck a deal with the EU to reduce Europe's dependency on Russian oil. How big was that announcement?
Well, it's a big announcement because, you know, the Russian gas and oil is really the main leverage that Moscow and the Kremlin have over Europe, and it is impacting this war. It is impacting the West's ability to confront and back down Vladimir Putin because Europe is addicted to Russian gas and oil. So what the president has done is say, you know, we're going to replace some of that. He promised 15 billion cubic meters of gas liquefied natural gas coming out of the United States. There's two problems with that. First, it's less than 1/10 the gas that Europe gets that turn on the lights here, that keep homes heated in the winter and cooled in the summer. Less than 1/10. And it's also tricky to see how the United States is going to get even that much gas to Europe, because our exporting facilities to handle liquefied natural gas are just, at this point, not at that level. However, medium term, long term, there's no question that the United States and other natural gas suppliers are going to take the place of Russia. One of the things Vladimir Putin has done is killed the golden goose. This has been, Europe is Russia's largest trading partner. They will no longer be when it comes to gas. It's pretty clear.
All right, Terry Moran in Warsaw, Poland, where we are watching President Biden now arriving as well. Terry, thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.